Hello and welcome back to Songs of Six. Welcome back, welcome back. We have some stuff to go over. Not much. Not much. It feels like I've done nothing, but I've actually probably done a lot more than I realized. But we have done a lot of city revamping. And the last episode it was called City Revamp. We built this grand arena and all these other buildings. And I had talked about my goal, which was to move all of my stuff. And you can see I have no iron and no pottery, which is actually pretty depressing. And I constantly have brawls. So I did go back a little bit. I went back, but I have a lot more of other resources. And specifically, I just need to rebuild my tools. And we have a lot of admin points, you can see here. We have plenty of paper coming in. So we're going to go over what I've got here and kind of do so in a way that's understandable. The reason I have all these brawls is because I don't have enough hospitals available for the areas that have racism, basically. That's all. If I was to go in my services here, we have hospitals, but there's just not access to certain areas, like where these guys are dying, like this guy here. There is a physician, but there's no hospital around here for them to get treated at. So that's kind of the problem. So I'm going to have to like remove this and probably put it in as a hospital. And of course he's got to take a big old toot in my ear. And stuff like that. So there's just little issues. And mostly has to do with the fact that my population is multiracial and Garthimes. And everyone else seemed to get into a lot of brawls because it's almost always a Garthimi corpse being dragged away by the brawl. Or if you look in... They're always Garthimes. They're almost always Garthimes. So, I've got to deal with that. I've got to get rid of them. It looks like these Garthimes came into the Amebian's house and got killed. So, in order to deal with that, I'll probably do this. I think I'll just change these guys over to Garthimes. And the Amebians will unfortunately get kicked out and they'll have to go live somewhere else. But that's fine. We'll put them somewhere else. We have so much to do, though. There's so much to do. And that's what I'm really enjoying. I keep saying, I keep reiterating it, but the further you get in the game, the more fun you're going to have. If you stop like I have in the past at a certain point, and you don't go past that pop, it's not that fun. But once you start to manage 7.5 thousand people, it's getting to be really crazy and challenging. I'm actually having quite a blast, so... It is fun. I just have to put it on pause sometimes because it is so draining and such a challenge to actually micromanage all these people and everything. So I had to move all of these houses In the last episode, a lot of these houses might not have existed, but I had to rearrange them, basically making it so that the Amevians lived over here. The Kryptonians were kind of the buffer zone. We have our humans, and then these Dundarians, as well as the Talapi. I don't know why I was so stupid to put the Talapi and the Dundarians next to each other, but they don't actually kill each other as often as the Garthimi just get into brawls. And I don't know why. I think that they are just violent and they get into brawls. I have no clue. Anyways, we have our library here attached to the paper maker so that all of the paper problems disappear, as well as these two admin buildings with a paper import depot right next to it and a delivery warehouse right next to it, so that these guys are the most important. They get the paper first. Then these library guys, they'll get it second. And then there's laboratory guys down here who don't need that. We have two of them. Two very big laboratories with 240 humans each. Most of those humans live up here in these houses right here and along the sides of this road here. So I went and built a lot of grandstone. We unfortunately lost our cantors only due to the fact that I keep dipping below the awe level, specifically because I'm sitting right at 50 and my population is growing. So as the population grows, I need more awe, and I'm not building enough awe quick enough for them to stay here. Very annoying, very annoying. I had said in the past that I think that they should get the cap. Once you hit that cap, they stay, they don't leave. To maintain it is really annoying, especially when the value goes up, up, up. The more people you have, the more awe you need, the more awe, like, you have to develop, basically putting down statues everywhere. But I haven't really developed my city enough to even get that point where I want to decorate it. I'm still trying to actually organize it back to the way I want it so that it's useful. So we've gone and removed all of these buildings and everything that was in here, all the paper buildings, all of the smelters, all of the weavers, it's all gone. And we replaced it with a nice bathhouse here. And we have the original market, we have the original food stall and all these things, as well as a tavern and a large laboratory, because these were the problems that these areas were having. We have the housing for the Dundarians in here, and we have access to the paper maker, which I talked about. We have a carpenter, large carpenter, for these guys to be making tons of furniture. You can see we have 8.4k. And we have a mason right below it. And these masons have the stone in here. Matter of fact, we should do that same thing for this. So we want ideally to have this storage be all for the resource that's being made, and this storage be all for the resource that's being used. That way it's closest, they grab it, these guys, whose job it is to go grab these from here. And what is it saying? There's nothing to fetch in the vicinity. Sir? I hate to tell you, but that's where you're supposed to fetch from, you jerk off. And that's what they do. They go and they grab from there, and the same goes for here. So we're building up a good source of cut stone. Like I mentioned, the iron or the metal is slightly an issue, but not too much of an issue. We also moved the breadbasket. It's now here. The breadbasket was downtown, and it's over here. It had 44,000. It's got 13,000 after I removed it. I think that the bread's still, sitting on the ground. But that's fine. I can reproduce these things. I can get more of it. If you think about it, we started very low and we're going back up. Things that rot on the ground really don't matter to me. So we went and we removed all of the Girthimi's housing. We have their Syphilon mines, of course, because that's what they're valuable for. Their mining and then their housing is here. This, I think I still have to adjust. I think I need to build this much bigger, the massage parlor and the laboratory. I think I'm just still thinking too small, especially for my pop. So I'm going to build a new one before I start to delve into this area. This area is just free real estate. I have to clear out this, but it'll be pretty simple because I'm just going to just delete it all, everything. Every single piece of this area is going to be gone, including the training ground, because in reality we have training grounds over here. And we can train up over 500 people right here for the meantime. We don't need more than that training. Anyways, we have 408. So I'm going to remove that in the next bit. This is my last stop before I've removed everything from the old city, leaving and paving way for the new city, which will be much more bombastic, much more put together, and hopefully overall a better city for the people who live in it. This area is actually probably going to go as well. This whole section right here. Everything from this point over has to get fixed, but from here down is good. I went and fixed up this area so that it looks good and works the way I want it. So we have our tailor here, the furthest away, because clothes for me is something that I feel like I can really distribute pretty easily, and the only reason it's low is because I just don't have a lot of Dundarians there. And we are allocating 4 clothing per person, so we're doing pretty good. To have 95 stored away with what we're doing, we have 50 guys working there. We're doing pretty good. So we have our tailor here. We have all of the space for the Dundarians to live here. And we also have space for them to live here, so that there's plenty of housing for them. We also have the Weaver in the same scenario. We have a little well in the middle, and there's going to be more wells. I'm going to place more wells and stuff in this area. And then we have this row here, where I'll put some other services, a lot more services. And this is the new and improved smelter with 140 people working here, but we have space for over 280. So I think I'm going to put this up to 215. I'd prefer the Dundarians to be doing this specifically because metal is dire need right now. And I'm going to need that to expand. And we have these houses here. I went and removed all of this, and I actually meant to dig this mountain out here, so that we have a nice open area to work with, and I expanded the market so that this is a good sized market for this area. And we are going to continue to add some services through here, add new bathrooms, bathhouses, all kinds of stuff, so that this area is just as good as this one. And then hopefully we'll connect them up here, leaving this portion of the map last to fix. And I'll have to fix up the asylums. This is the asylum zone. It is a fucking huge mess. It is a goddamn awful mess. I just am putting buildings here. You see we have starving babies. These are all the Kandar Crotonians. I was just breeding way too many Crotonians way too quickly. And you can see I still am. These 50 guys, or 50 or 22, whatever, they grow so rapidly that I cannot control them. So I'm trying to keep their population down so that the food stays relatively stable, because they do eat a lot of food, and having 1,000 Crotonians is pretty useless. So unless I want to start sending them out to the world map, which I'll probably have to do, we got to do something about it. So I turned off their housing there, and that is about all that I've done. I had so much to do, basically, because I'm waiting a lot on cut stone to be done. And I made all of these buildings out of the fine grand walls. And I also built this. This is a giant tavern. This is our best tavern. These taverns are very difficult to get. So, like, if you want a tavern to be sufficient for an area of a big size, like Dondarian size, you're going to want to build a tavern about this size, like maximum size, with the warehouse next to it. This is the size of the same for, like, the weavers and the smelters and everything, to match it, basically. And like I said in the past, I know people don't like the square design, but if it works, do it. Like, if that's what you need to do, then do it. And you can see I'm not going for like a perfectly grid-based design. This isn't grid, but there is a layer to the grid that's kind of there. It's a little bit like an organic grid, and that's kind of what I wanted to go for, because I don't want to have necessarily a grid city. It doesn't really work that way, because Jake's buildings don't allow you to have just always grids. I mean, if you tried, you could, but regardless, we're doing great. Our army is fantastic. We have 5,239, and there's a total of 5,650 who need to be trained. So currently, if I look at them, they all appear to be trained up. It's just these Talapi groups that are new. No, actually, 40 out of 100. Okay. 78 out of 100. I think it's just because we don't have enough total Talapis. No, we just got these Talapis, that's why. So they are training. They're getting their bow skills up. And it looks like our Garthamis as well. They are dying at a rapid rate. And since I removed their little house here, their little breeder, they have been something of a contention spot for me. Dealing with their population just constantly brawling, killing Talapis, and fighting everyone. It makes me want to not even have them, because they are pretty annoying. But wanna commit to my goal here of a perfect multiracial city. So we are gonna continue on our way, and hopefully in a couple days I'll have another update for you guys. So thank you for being patient, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.